Hey guys, I'm CJ, and this is the long box for July 24th, 2013. Alrighty, so today on the review list we have Hunger, Issue 1, Justice Machine, Issue 2 for one of our retro reviews, X-Men and Wolverine and the X-Men, the HellFire Saga Part 3 of 5, and Kingdom Come. So let's get started here with Hunger. So in this issue, we are kind of taken around a tour of one of the Marvel multiverse worlds, or universes I should say. This issue was kind of a disappointment to me, but it was still really good. The reason why it was a bit of a disappointment is because we get this really nice artwork on the front here of Galactus, and there's, a bunch of ships flying at him, getting ready to, try and kick his butt. And then it takes all, except for the last, I think, 5 pages of this issue to bring him in. Whereas with Age of Ultron, which this is the aftermath of, shows Galactus about to make his way to Earth, or that Earth, in the Marvel multiverse. And in this one, it took forever to get him introduced, so kind of a bummer. But I don't know. I'm sure we'll all appreciate come issue 2 why they took that time to set him up. But yeah, kind of a overall disappointment for me anyways, because I was hoping to see more of Galactus, which is why I picked this up. So if you're picking it up for that reason, you're going to be a little disappointed, but it is still a good read. Next up, Wolverine and the X-Men, the HellFire Saga, Part 3 of 5. So, Part 3, we see Idie talking to the head of the Hellfire Club, and he's trying to make her the Black Queen, and she says, okay, but you have to shoot my friend in order to do this, because she's trying to find out who shot him. And he says, yeah, okay, I shot him once before. So then she goes all apeshit on him, and they don't show it, but they heavily imply that he's dead now, which I'm not sure if that's the case, because if you look at the preview for Part 4, we see him on the front cover with Wolverine launching himself towards him, and the hand of a Sentinel behind him. So that was kind of confusing. Oh, and then we see this big swamp creature come out and be like, blah, I'm a swamp creature, blah, and just starts tearing stuff up, which was cool, I guess. So yeah, overall this one, it didn't wow me, but it wasn't a huge disappointment. So compared to Hunger, which I'm going to be giving a buy it if you see it, this one I'm going to have to give it a definitely something you want to pick up, but I'm not too sure how important it's going to be to the overall story. And that's the problem with these big events, is you never know how big one part is going to be in comparison to the whole story. So if you're getting all the issues anyways, definitely pick this one up. If not, not a huge loss. So let's get into the retro reviews. First up is Justice Machine Issue 2. So for the first episode of Retro Month that I did, I reviewed Issue 1. Issue 2, we find out that the Empire is not all that we thought it was, and that the Justice Machine is now headed to Earth to try and find out what exactly is going on. We get to see some of their family members as they try to get them off the planet, and overall kind of really sets up things for Issue 3, so not a huge deal breaker, but from my point of view, I would say that if you do plan on picking up the Justice Machine series, this is definitely one that you have to check out. And finally, Kingdom Come. So this goes back to roughly about 1996 or so, where Alex Ross did the artwork, and I must say, Mr. Ross, if you are listening, I love your artwork, and definitely keep up the good work. But anyways, moving on. So we follow around this, I'm not sure if I'm getting his name correctly because it has been some time since I've read it, Nolan McKay, and the Spectre, strangely enough. And they're kind of, running around Earth 22, I believe this is where it takes place, which is kind of like a futuristic Earth 2. We see Alan Scott, we see Superman, we see Jake Garrick, we see, all these old characters. We find out that there's going to be the superhero war going on between Lex Luthor, who Batman is secretly working against, but is kind of with him at the same time. We see all these other characters that kind of show up and, do all this cool stuff. And at the very end of the series, Shazam and Superman duke it out, with Shazam sacrificing himself in order to save the human race. Now let's move into a bit of history for both Justice Machine and Kingdom Come, starting with, of course, Justice Machine. Justice Machine is one of those kind of forgotten gems that was never going to be anything big, but it definitely had its moments. One of the reasons why it failed was, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Really, for some reason, everyone seemed to miss the fact that for $1.50 you could get a full-colored comic, yet for $2.50 you could get a black and white comic, and for whatever reason, everyone and their mother decided that black and white comics were the future. As for Kingdom Come was a monster success, revealing several one-shot comics for the sons and daughters of Batman, Superman, The Flash, Green Lantern, and various other characters, and also had another one-shot called the Justice Society of America, which also spun off into its own series. So overall, I'd have to say Kingdom Come did what it set out to do, and maybe even surprised a few people in the process. The artwork is fantastic, the characters were very well done and stayed true to what was futuristic version of Earth 2, and it can also get kind of confusing because there are some parts that make it seem like it is Earth 2, but in fact this is an alternate Earth called Earth 22. With that being said, I am CJ, and this has been the third episode of The Long Box for Retro Month. I'll catch you guys next time.